I heard that you have a retro doodad full of games and you don't know which ones to play. Like, how do you choose? Well, I'll tell you what I do. Like most things in life, if I need to know something, I just ask the cube that lives in my basement. Let's go down there and ask it now. Hey, cube of darkness. Sorry to bug you, but which retro games should I play? Cube, do you have retro games that I? Ow. Ow! I'm sorry. Please don't bring the headaches back. Please, Cube. Please. Ah! Yeah, this game's actually great. That Cube has good taste in games, man. Hey there, how's it going? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. I did a poll recently on my community tab asking for video suggestions. I said that I would make the top rated video, and I did. The top voted comment was a ROM hacks video, so I made that video. Pretty good video actually. Worth checking out if you're into ROM hacks, or videos, or polls. But another one of the most top voted videos that you dweebs wanted is this one. More game recommendations. I need to know what to play on all my doodads. And at first I was like, heck yeah, I can make more videos about games. Those are some of my favorite types of videos to make. But then I thought that maybe it would make more sense to touch on the topic in general, because it doesn't get talked about much. How to find games to play. The world of retro gaming is freaking massive. There are tens upon tens of thousands of retro games, and finding the good ones is a bit tricky. Like, you fire up a retro doodad and you scroll through the game list and it keeps on going and going. Just names, endless names. And you know that somewhere in there is a game that you'll love that will completely consume your life for the next 2 weeks. And you just scroll right past it because it's called something like Mystic Quest 7, the hero of the 7th quest. Or maybe you're just gonna go in there and pick something random. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you strike gold. Sometimes you strike educational math games. Or there's the other approach, the one where you spend more time looking for a game than actually playing one. You open 14 tabs, you watch 6 videos, you read 3 Reddit threads, you make a short list, you scrap that list and start again, you lie down, you stare at the ceiling, you whisper, "What am I doing with my life?" while clutching your retro doodad like it's your therapist. No? I'm the only one who does that? Okay, that's fine. Forget I said that. So instead of doing that, today I want to talk about something that I think is way more useful than just throwing more random games at you. I want to show you how to actually find games on your own without needing me to feed you weird little Game Boy hidden gems like some kind of retro gaming baby bird. Because once you figure this out, you don't really run out of games anymore. You just kinda wander into them, like a confused adventurer who keeps accidentally discovering secret rooms that lead to entire areas that are full of cool things to do. And honestly, that's kinda the best part about retro gaming. The discoveries that await you. Well, that, and also the fact that girls love middle-aged dudes that live with their mom and know all the best hidden gems on the TurboGrafx 16. Trust me on that. It's a thing. I have a bunch of methods to give you, but let's start with the obvious ones, including the most obvious one, which is obviously Google. Hit up Google and do some searching. If you're in the mood to find some fun Super Nintendo games, search for fun Super Nintendo games. You'll get served up an AI answer, some forum posts, some Reddit discussions, some articles on various websites. Don't be afraid, go ahead and click. See what people are saying. You'll usually find the most basic version of the thing you're searching for, but sometimes that's what you need. Like, usually if you see lots of people saying the same thing, it tends to be true. Except in my comment sections. Those guys down there, I don't know where they get their info. You can also search by genre. If you're into point-and-click adventures or RPGs or educational math games, search for that. You can even combine this with the platform, so search up the best GBA RPGs if you want those. It's so simple that I think some people skip this step thinking it's too basic, but that's a mistake. Even a true retro game genius like me still finds great games this way. Or if pretend virtual people aren't your thing, I guess real people would work. So it's time to talk with people. that exist in the real world. I don't mean actually leaving your house, although you can do that, I suppose. Go to your local retro game shop and ask if people want to be your friend or if they have retro games to suggest for you to try. But just online, there's people out there on message boards and Facebook groups or Discord servers. Tons of those. Heck, I have one. TechDweeb's Discord thing. I don't mention it nearly enough, but that's a pretty swell place to hang out. And we have an entire room dedicated to talking about retro games. And I do fun stuff like a question of the day. And I even have an extra special secret area for my patrons. Lots of cool dweebs in there talking about all sorts of retro game stuff all the time. And then you have lists. Websites that have lists of good games. Search up top Super Nintendo games and you'll find some list on some site written by some guy. My personal favorite resource for this is Moby Games because they have just about the best collection of games. Basically every game ever is on there, and you can bring up lists of all the games on specific systems or genres. You can even sort the list by the Moby score, which is an aggregate score of the critic reviews and user reviews. And they have a ton of info on the game's page, when and where it was released, and descriptions and screenshots. I've spent hours and hours lost in Moby Games, just clicking from game to game. I've found so many games this way. It's just about the best and most complete retro game info site that exists. Finally, and this one's probably pretty darn obvious considering that you're watching a YouTube video right now, it's YouTube videos. There's entire channels dedicated to sharing games. The best games, obscure hidden gems, or just weird games that you might find interesting. There are so many channels that talk about this sort of thing. Some of my favorites are Cultured Vultures, That Video Game Show, my boy Pixel Bro Lee, Retro Bird, Retro Break, Gaming the Systems, Metal Jesus, Angry Video Game Nerd, and like hundreds of other amazing channels. If you start watching these kinds of videos, the algorithm will start serving them up for you. And of course, I've made a few myself. Usually every 3 or 4 videos, I make a game-focused video, so feel free to go on a TechDweeb retro game binge. That's probably the best answer of all the answers in this video, actually, because then you get to spend more time with me. Now, for me, as a lover of games, a creator of gaming content, and a certified retro hidden gem hunter, I have 2 main methods that I use to discover games. Not saying that these are the best ways, but this is just how I like to do it. This is the way that I find the most fun. My main way is game list scrolling, but it's a lot more fun than it sounds at first. I have what I consider to be the best ROM set for all the old retro systems, everything up to N64. I have 1G, 1R ROM sets of all the old retro stuff, which means 1 game, 1 ROM, with an English North American priority. So they're like complete ROM sets without a bunch of extra stuff that won't be useful. I have this same core set on all my retro handhelds, everything from my lower powered Linux handhelds and all the way up to my big boy Android handhelds and even my PC and my Steam Deck. And I made a whole video about this topic, link below. And then depending on the power of the device, I'll have a bunch of hand-picked higher end games, but not complete sets for all that stuff. I have the screenshots and metadata scraped for all those games, and I can organize my game lists by name or date or by rating. But the main thing I do when I go retro game hunting is I just start scrolling through the list. I'll pick a system to focus on for a few days, and I'll go through each game in the list, looking for games that have screenshots that look interesting, looking for games that are highly rated, or just games that pique my curiosity. Any game feels like it's worth checking out, I'll favorite that game. And at the end, I'll have a list of games that I've earmarked to check out. And then I'll go through my favorites and play every single game that I haven't tried yet. I'll give them each at least 5 minutes to see what they're about. Give them a chance to win me over. And then I decide if I want to leave it on my favorites or not. It usually takes me a good week or 2 to go through an entire system this way, but at the end, I have a big set of the best games and also a bunch of games that I personally enjoyed that I didn't know about before. This is how I find games both to play and also to feature in videos. And this is how I find super cool and interesting games to share with the Dusty Game Society. Which brings me to, the Dusty Game Society is the second way that I pick which games to play. If you're not familiar with the DGS, the short version is that it's a retro gaming club that I host for the patrons of TechDweeb. Each month I pick a game for us to play, pulled from my list of games that I want to do deep dives in. We play it together, help each other out, and talk about it all month long. I like to think of it like a book club for retro games. So because we're all playing the game together each month, that's kind of like your thought of what should I play is decided for you. Each month we have a Dusty game on the go. And having the Dusty Game Game Society in my life has made it so that I actually stick with games. I have fallen in love with so many games that I otherwise wouldn't have simply because I'm playing them with the DGS. And since we're conveniently on this topic, of course, if you're interested in supporting my channel and my work to help me make better videos and also want to get in on some hot, dusty retro game goodness with literally the coolest dusty dweebs that exist on the internet, the link to my Patreon page can be found in the thingy below. We've been at this for a while too. 12 games a year. So if you're interested in seeing the games we played before and maybe trying some of those out, feel free to check out the Dusty Game Society playlist, also linked below. I've made videos about all of them. The final methods I wanted to get into are some kinda fun methods, or just like out of the box ways to think about trying to find games to play. Sorta reframing the way you think about looking for games, focusing on what you really want in a game, or maybe just finding some weird obscure games that are fun because they're unique. First up, we have what I call the vibe first, not genre approach. See, genres are liars. They box games into categories that don't tell you much about the game itself. Vibes are honest. That's where you get the kinds of games that fit the mood you want. So don't search for platformers or role-playing games. Search for the emotions you want to feel. Search for exciting or cozy or weird or melancholy. You might go from Animal Crossing to some random obscure fishing game that feels the same emotionally, even if it plays totally different. Or you might find some new twitchy, fast-paced shooter that makes your brain go in the best way. I call this one the dumb rules method. So like your brain can't handle 10,000 choices. It turns into mashed potatoes. Trust me, I know. So bring order to the chaos by making rules, but make them arbitrary. Rules like only games under 10 hours, only games from 1994, only games with terrible box art, only games where the main character is an insect, only games with weird subtitles like The Revenge of something. You'll not only find games you never heard of, but this will be a chance for you to actually play them because you'll enjoy seeing how they fit into the rules that you made yourself for totally good reasons probably. You wanted to see what came up when you searched for games where the first level is easy and the second level is really hard. And now you're playing Lion King on the Sega Genesis and having a good time. Moving along, this is the controlled randomness method. So here's the thing about retro games, they are vast and varied. There is such a difference between like Atari 2600 games and PS1 games. It's too much of a swing. It's like eating candy with scalloped potatoes. So if you're in the mood to make use of that pick a random game button on your front end, don't do it blind on your whole library. Narrow it down first. So pick a system, or maybe make a curated list by using a filter, or both. So like get your Super Nintendo role-playing games up and then randomize from that. It gives you more surprises without as much suffering because at least you're jumping around within a topic that you're interested in. My last little hacky method is called the 3-game rotation trick. The idea here is that you don't just go game to game to game, leaving the old ones behind on an endless search. Because sometimes you'll get bored of a game and move on, but it gets lost in the shuffle and you don't ever go back to it and get to the point where you would have enjoyed it if you stuck with it. I've used this before, many times actually. Pick 3 games at a time and play them all. Rotate between them as often as you like, but only stick to these 3. It's a little bit of variety for the ADHD retro gamer brain while still maintaining enough focus to actually see games through. One of them will naturally rise up to the top, the others will probably just fade away, and you can move on when you're ready, but at least you gave them more of a chance because they were one of your 3. And I want to wrap this up with a little pep talk. I know that choice fatigue is real, but I also believe that you watching this video, you already know some games that you should be playing. They're sitting there on your backlog. That classic Metroid game that you never touched. That RPG that everyone says is amazing. That cozy little sim game that you keep meaning to try. We all love the discovery. We love new stuff. We love adding new games to the backlog, but that's not really what this hobby is about. It's about the games. So take it from me, your weird internet friend who lives in your phone. Here's my advice to you. Just pick something and play it. Stop researching, stop optimizing, stop making lists, and just start. Play it like it's your new game. Give it a real shot. If it sucks, then quit. That's fine, but don't let looking for games become more important than actually playing them. Because you don't discover great games by thinking about them. You discover them by playing them, getting lost in them, wandering into weird little moments. And then one day when a cutscene blindsides you and brings a tear to your eye, you go, this is why people love this one. So yeah, this is me, your dweeby buddy, giving you permission to just enjoy a game. The rest will still be there when you're done. And so will I. Probably holding a handheld and playing video games instead of doing important adult things that I should be doing instead. And excited to hear about the cool, interesting, fun, or just weird games that you've discovered. But that's gonna do it for me for today. I'm TechDweeb, thanks for watching, bye-bye.